I have been playing Minecraft for a very, very long time. There are 100% people who've been playing much longer than me, but in 2 months' time, I will have been playing for 8 years. 8 years of Minecraft, that is a seriously long time. And just recently, I actually watched a video where somebody toured one of their old worlds, and there was some seriously, seriously cool things in there. And I kind of thought to myself, I really wish I had an old world like that. And the reason I have to wish that I had a world like that, and I can't just say that I do, is, I spent the majority of my time mining, and by majority, I mean majority. Picture me joining a world, making a 7x7 wooden house, going mining until I had, I don't know, like 20 diamonds, and then restarting the world for 8 years. That is basically what I did, and I have done a lot of mining, a lot of caving, and today I'm actually going to be sharing some of my tips and tricks that I've learned over many, many years of playing Minecraft. Basically, at the time of this recording, I am a member of the Fozzen survival multiplayer server, and I needed to do some lighting up of some caves because I'm actually going to be building a farm that needs those caves lit up. But I thought, what better opportunity than right now to actually go into some caving tips. So to start, we are going to be talking about what you need to prepare, the things you need before you go mining, and then tips for general... That squid just ruined the entire recording. Like I was saying, we are going to be going into some general tips of mining, also some stuff that you can do when you're going through mine shafts, and this is all going to be pre-end. There's going to be no elytras, and we aren't even going to use shulker boxes. We're going to be using something called the poor man's shulker box. Of course, that is just my name for them. We are going to be using barrels when we're mining, but we are here at the base. This is the kind of thing I work on in our episodes, and we're gonna grab some stuff over here, and let's talk about what you need to bring when you're going caving. First things first, grab yourself some gear. Now, I actually have some maxed out diamond armor, and this is not necessary when you're going caving. For 8 years, I just used iron armor. It took me like 6 years to make diamond armor, not because I didn't have the diamonds, but just because I thought it was useless. So yeah, you can definitely go full iron, and I am just going to be kitted out to the teeth in this diamond armor. I cannot even tell you guys how many times my mining sessions have ended short because I didn't have enough food. So make sure to bring food. Of course, you can just use things like wheat or steak or melons, whatever you have on hand, but make sure you bring lots and lots of food. Not only should you bring food, bring stuff to get food. Now, I'm actually going to be bringing some wheat seeds. This is in case you reach an emergency situation. You're out of food, you're stuck in a corner. You can just grab some wheat seeds, till some dirt, and actually grow food down there in the cave with you. Because of course you'll have a bunch of bone meal from all those skeletons you're killing. Of course, don't forget the things that you need to bring to kill those skeletons. You are going to want a sword and a bow. Now, neither of these, like, you can have one or the other, doesn't matter, whatever you prefer, but I really like having both for melee and ranged. Of course, don't forget your shovel and your pickaxes. You can do Silk Touch and Fortune 3 as well, and I love to bring axes. Now, you might not have thought of this, like, why on earth would I bring an axe, Fozzen? But down in those mine shafts, there are actually a bunch of wooden places that are nice to chop. We can talk about that later, but yeah, these are the tools I recommend. If you look around here, you will see I have a lot of torches, and I really don't like having to deal with mobs when I'm above ground. But down below, you actually need those torches too. They are helpful for finding your way. They're helpful for lighting up the cave so you don't have to fight those monsters. And if you are trying to spawn-proof something, they are necessary. Last couple of things here, Don't forget to bring a furnace and a crafting table. Those are super useful when you're underground, whether you want to smelt up some ores or just build something. Those are essential. I was about to say bring wood too. Yeah, bring wood. It's very important, but just like that, I threw some off the cliff. I need to go down here and get this. The sun is setting again. I have to go quickly, but yeah, we are on number 9 and 10. So bring knockback 2 and punch 2. Now, this is of course not necessary, but I really just love it when you're down in the mine and you can just knock the mobs away, giving you that little bit of extra time. And also, burn your elytras because you're not going to need them. No, I'm just kidding. Don't burn them. But Don't bring your lighter while you're caving. The chest plate gives you so much more armor. Boom, done. You guys are prepared to go caving. And now let's start. And you want to find a cave. Now, don't look at these ones. These ones are piddly. they're tiny little gashes in the surface. From what I have learned, I actually found this when I was starting the intro. The caves that are very hard to find are usually the ones that end up going super deep. I proved myself wrong very rapidly. This one does not go very far at all. But this brings me nicely to another point. Place all of your torches on the right-hand side of the wall. If you're in a huge room and you can't just have torches on the right-hand side, put some in the middle, but make sure they're on the floor. Don't do things like this, and this means that wherever you are, if you follow torches on your left, you will eventually end up back at your entrance. Touching now on 13, I recommend mining only what you can't farm. Now, in this situation, I could farm coal. I could actually have a wither farm and collect a whole bunch of coal, but one of my goals is actually to get 2 double chests of coal blocks, not coal ore, and that will just, it would be truly fantastic for me. But things like iron, if you have an iron farm, try and skip mining it just to save inventory space. But if you are at a point in the game where you do want to keep all of your iron ore, all of your gold ore, definitely smelt it down. You can take these ingots, and what you can do is you can actually craft the block form, and that turns 9 iron ore into 1 singular block, saving inventory space. I just feel silly now. I mentioned that the hard to find ones are normally super deep ones, and I didn't even notice this. Oh my goodness, this one just goes straight down. I didn't even mind that. That was just there. Oh, this does bring me nicely to another point. Always make sure that you are heading down. Keep going down. You want to head down to those diamonds, because the thing is, if you keep on going back up, I did this for a little while, so long as you don't need all the caves lit up for spawn proofing for a mob farm, head down. Everything is better when you're lower down. And normally that is true. You want to head straight down. But you also need to make sure you keep your goals in mind. For me, I want to mine all the coal, so I'm going to make sure I mine all the coal. But if you are trying to prepare an area for a farm like I'm doing, then you want to make sure you explore every single tunnel. You may have noticed too that I'm actually using Fortune 3 on these coal blocks, and that is for a very specific reason. If you actually mine a coal ore with your diamond pickaxe, you will always get less than 9 coal. So that means turning it into blocks of coal actually saves space in your inventory, and you don't want to do that for things like lapis, but for diamonds, coal ore, definitely that is a recommendation. And actually, I'm not going to be heading into this cave, even though I know it's here. I remember back over here, there was actually another branch, that went off that direction, so that is the next step. Make sure you pay attention to when you're walking away from a new entrance like this one, in case you do want to light every single thing up. If you are a builder at heart, you might be a little dubious when I say this, but keep your oh my goodness, I'm doing terrible, it looks like. Keep your diorite, because if you actually take the diorite and you mix it with cobblestone, you get andesite, and that is a beautiful building block. This next one is actually one that I didn't even do myself when I started off this video, and that is keep blocks on your hotbar at all times. Whether you're trying to block off a monster or I don't even know, it's just super helpful to have it at all times in case you actually do need it. We have actually reached a depth now where there is gold ore. Now, I could be grabbing this and I could be storing it with me on my person, but I'm not going to. I am not going to. Like I mentioned, you can farm lots of the things that you can get underground, so why would you grab something and fill up your inventory space when you could actually just farm it? The next tip might actually even make that redundant now, and that is the poor man's shulker. So if we come over here and our inventory is full, I could, of course, actually craft those down into the block forms and save a little bit of space, but what am I making? I'm making a composter. In my mind, I wanted to make a barrel, and I actually started making a composter, but luckily they have similar recipes. Now, the barrel is actually cheaper than a single chest. I don't like replacing chests with them because chests can expand, but when you're down below, you can actually drop all your stuff in here, mark down the coordinates, and come back later and just grab everything out of here, making it so you don't even need shulker boxes or to be conservative of your inventory space. I've forgotten what tip we're on, but that's okay. I'll go check in a moment. But the next one is remember where your poor man shulkers are. Write down the coordinates. You aren't going to memorize that. Well, if you have a photographic memory, congratulations. You are the elite and you definitely could. But yeah, no, check out where the coordinates are and then you can eventually just come back down with a spiral staircase, grab all the stuff, and head out on your merry way. Always, always explore lava lakes. I don't care how small they are or how stuck in the wall they are. You just want to go to that lava lake and go all the way around it to the end. There are normally so many diamonds around these places because this is at the perfect level to find diamonds when you're in caves, and the amount of surface space that is open just helps you find those enormously. And the next tip is actually when you're underground, there's these blue rocks and they're kind of shiny. I don't really know all the uses for them, but they could be useful, so I recommend grabbing them. I don't know about you guys, but I have always found ravines to be a little bit on the spooky side. They're super tall, super scary, and if there's ledges up on the sides, mobs can drop down on your head, and creepers, they just go boom on your head. That's why I recommend that you actually walk up on those ledges, if there are any, and light up your ravines from top down. Normally, when I find a lava lake, I normally just leave the lava and I go and get the diamonds all around it. But when you're in a ravine or anything else where there's actually like an open place where you could fall, I always just quench the lava. Better safe than sorry. And sometimes when you're caving, all you need to do is be a little quiet and listen. I can hear a spider over there, so yeah, okay. Okay, and, spawner, yeah, okay. Sometimes all you need to do is just have a little listen. Here's some mobs that are off in the walls that you can go and get to. And if you see cobblestone or mossy cobblestone under the ground, that normally means it's a spawner. Our next tip is about the spawner. Never break spawners. Just don't break them. There is a limited amount in your world. Oh my goodness, that one in my nose looks like it hurts. Wait, it looks like it's in my neck. Oh geez. Okay, that is not good. But yeah, don't break these spawners. Even if it seems like you should, don't break them. Light them up. No things can spawn. You can even make XP farms here. It's just a good idea to leave them. We're covering a lot of bases actually with this one spawner, and that is to loot all of the chests. I don't care if you need this stuff or not. Break the chests so that you know that you've already looted it, that you don't need to come back. And even if you do run out of space, remember, poor man shulker box. I've almost always, forever and ever, just gotten the non-ore form of all the ores in Minecraft. But sometimes it's nice just to have a few of the ore on hand. Personally, what I do is I will actually take all of the ores from all my caving sessions and put them into a time-lapse in a video, but even if you don't make videos, it is kind of fun, just keeping a little bit of the ores on hand. If you do ever get in a hazy spot, maybe there's a bunch of creepers or some zombies or something, if you're on a server and there's other people online in the same dimension as you, you can just delete the mob. So if I leave the server real quick, now I'm coming back in, that Enderman is going to be gone because it despawned because there was somebody else in the world. All the mobs in the entire cave despawn. Now, if you are more into fighting them, you can do that yourself. Normally, that's what I just do. The mobs are really no bother to me, but if they are a problem, then yes, you can definitely just relog if you're on a server. Sometimes, though, you have to use a tip that even I myself don't like. So it is using a spectator account. So I found this little pool of water with a spectator account, and I want to make sure I light up the entire thing because I am going around spawn-proofing stuff. Now, this is a good tip. If you are spawn-proofing stuff, use a spectator account, but it ruins the fun for me when I'm looking for stuff for diamonds, so remember to use it sparingly, and especially if your server doesn't allow it, don't use it at all. Another useful resource that you can use when you are actually trying to light something up for a farm is Light Overlay Mod. Now, normally, I highly discourage cheating and mods and stuff, but all this one does is it shows you where the light level is low enough for monsters to spawn, and it tells you if you are good to go. So I've been using this the entire time I'm caving, making sure my farm has max spawns. If you've ever played Minecraft before, you'll know that digging straight down or straight up is always a bad idea. Except if you do need to go straight down, because I hear some lava below me, make sure you go in a 2x1. That way you can always stand. Yeah, see, if I'd been digging straight down, I would have fallen into that lava, but now I can actually see this cave, and right there is a safe block to drop down onto. If you're finding cool places under the ground, let's say I really love the way this room is shaped with that kind of the beautiful arch on top, and I wanted to build like a bunker down here, write down the coordinates. Just write down the coordinates. You can always come back. It's not like it's lost. And if you ever do need it, then you know where it is. And yeah, so we just finished going over all the things that I personally like doing when you're caving. There's many more tips and tricks that you can find all over the place. But now we are actually going to be heading right down here. And I believe there is actually a mine shaft. And we're going to be going through a few tips that you can bear in mind when you're in a mine shaft. The first tip that you want to bear in mind is you want to check in all 3 directions when you arrive at one of these junction points, because there can be mobs in any of the directions. Another thing too that you can do is you can actually come over to these wooden places, and remember how I said bring an axe? I love taking out these wooden things right here. Look how much it opens up this entire place. It is so much easier to deal with these things. And Speeve said, do you have any sea lanterns? I bought the shop out of stock, but I need about 32 more. Yes, I do, Speeve. And I know I mentioned this before, that you want to place torches on the right-hand side, but it is even more important when you are down here in one of these abandoned mine shafts, because the entire thing is a maze. And when you're exploring these mine shafts, make sure you go down every single branch, because each one of these branches could turn into an entirely new whole system of passages. The thing is crazy down here. One thing that's good to think about too is I actually just came over here placing torches on the right because I was going along, but I ended up circling back around, and instead of placing torches on the right here, I actually put it on my left facing this way, and that way, even though you were going the other way, you know that you're going back to where you entered, so try and place it so that the torches lead you back to the entrance instead of just in a circle. Sometimes when you are in an abandoned mine shaft, it may seem like you have finished everything. Right here, I just have a circle and that is all. There is nothing else. But actually, I came down here and I heard some lava. You can actually just mine into the floor. Always just check things like that. If you reach a dead end, maybe let's head over here. I'm actually going to try mining into this wall. There, see? Like, we just reached a whole other section. It's because these are so tightly knit. If you think you've reached a dead end, you might not have. Another trick, too, is if you've already mined through the walls and you still couldn't find any nearby passages, retracing your steps is always a good idea, because I know that I headed over in this direction and I found a whole other section way over here. And I thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, well, I can head back over here, and I completely forgot about it. And in the end, I just stopped and went through a wall. But you can always retrace your steps, and that might lead you to places that you have been that you forgot about. When you're down here too, you also want to always look up, because if there are tunnels above you and you aren't prepared, things can drop on your head and possibly go boom. Another good thing that you can actually do is keep a runaway plan. Now mine right here is actually just to sprint and jump over this, because I came over here and I saw that this room is filled with monsters and I had a bunch of corridors all on my side, so make sure you have a way to escape those mobs and run away. Now I just walked around this corner, so I know what's over there, and what you want to do is you want to run in as fast as you can, and you want to place torches quickly, because these cave spiders are terrible. They are poisonous, they are super tiny, and the cobwebs slow you down so much. The next tip is in the same spot too. Make sure you always watch corners. Always, because cave spiders are so tiny, they can just fit up there and they will just drop on you and kill you. It is now day. I am no longer in that cave, and we have just finished all the caving we are going to do today. So I have shared my ancient trove of knowledge and wisdom with you guys. And the few last things I want to mention are about spawn proofing. So make sure that you destroy all that darkness. Make it be gone. If you want your mob farms to run at max capacity, caving is the way to go unless you want to build a perimeter. Make sure you explore every branch. Any amount of darkness can take down those mob spawns. And you can also flood. If you want to use water, and that is easier for you, you can definitely go around flood all the blocks, and nothing can spawn. But for today, we are done. And if you're wondering what the 50th and final tip was, it is to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You've watched all the way to the end. You are part of the elite, the ones who watch the entire video, and that means you must have found these tips to be helpful in some way. So if these videos interest you, or SMP survival multiplayer videos where we are building up our villager breeder, you saw our mega base back there, we just have loads of fun. Speeve is also a YouTuber on this server, so definitely check out Fozzencraft if that is of an interest for you. So, like I mentioned, take tip number 50 into consideration, and until the next time I see you guys, it is bye for now for me. Adios!